Hello there, and welcome to day number 91 on the road to 2000 ELO Rapid Series. We're playing with the white pieces again, and really hoping to turn our fortunes around. E4, E5, so we're off to a good start here, and this is promising. We might go into the 4 knights. Let's see what happens here. So we got the 3 knights out, and we have this bishop c5 move, which we know we can meet with knight takes on e5, the idea being that if knight takes back, d4 is a center fork. I think that um, the unofficial name for this is the center fork trick. Whenever there's two pieces out on c5 and e5, you can always look to see whether or not d4 is a possibility. And there's a couple of different ways to go about this. The best way, from my understanding, is after knight takes d4, you want to keep the bishop on the board by going back to d6. This is not as good. It does remove my castling rights, right? That much should be said, but we still get to play d4 with complete control of the center, and we can also hide the king on g1 very soon, shortly after. So let's see whether or not we can do this right away. I think that we can just go d4 first to start. The queen coming out's not scary. We can just go back onto g1 if that does happen. And these pawns are very strong. One thing to make sure is that I don't keep this d4 pawn hanging. Like, I can bring my queen out. Let's say, hypothetically, on a later move, knight moves. If I block with a queen at some point, well, I can drop this pawn, so that's not going to be good. So here, right now, we're going to go king g1. This just helps us do what we wanted to. Knight here looks potentially scary. I think we can just meet that with queen d2. Okay. So, how do we take advantage of our position right now? We clearly have the better position. I'm already considering maybe like knight d5. Seems very aggressive. But it does kind of force the queen back here. So knight d5 is a move. We could also just play normal chess and just develop in a principled fashion. I think I'm going to play bishop e3. I just really don't want this pawn to hang. I could just push one of my pawns as well, but I feel like development is probably the priority earlier on in the game. Let's do this. We're going to save knight d5 for a later time. And yeah, we'll just develop normally. Okay. So, take advantage of the fact that the pin is available, and I could maybe go bishop b5. I don't really see a downside. There's no checks to worry about here. Well, there's a check, but it's really not. No, there's no checks. What am I talking about? Technically, there's a check, I guess, but it's really not worth worrying about at this point in time. But yeah. And this already walks into, I believe, d5, and maybe there's a7, but here even better. I mean, when you're looking at the defense of this pawn, you're noticing the fact that you wanted the queen to step in here. That's not possible anymore. I can play knight d5 now, and I think that'll be really good. Knight d5, I mean, yeah, knight d5 if knight takes, pawn takes. I mean, this looks solid. And we're going after the c7 square, we're going after the queen, we're going after this knight that's pinned. A lot going on here. Now we'll take advantage of the pin, and we're just going to win a pawn cleanly. Technically, we can go and win the pawn this way, although it doesn't win a pawn, actually. Yeah, maybe better ways to go about converting this position. If there are, I'm probably missing them. I could play bishop a4 that lets them play bishop b5 and then get away with the knight later on. Instead, I'm just going to take. And okay, we have a really good pawn here. I want to play c3 so that I can eventually play d5. I anticipate the rook coming here. Is that going to be a problem for me? I don't think so. I don't think so. I can slide my bishop back afterwards. Um, the other thing I could do is maybe play queen f3. take advantage of my pawn, like my extra pawn in this case, I should say. Is there anything better? Let's think. It'd be nice to get this rook in the game. How are we gonna do that? Maybe with a g3 and then king g2. Not too sure. Sit and think on this one a little bit. I don't want to trade queens right away. I feel like I need my queen to take advantage because, like, right now, I mean, pretty close in this position. I'll play queen d3. Queen d3 walks into this, I guess. And lets them develop with a tempo. Um, If I play this right away, rook here, bishop here, I guess is a move. Let's play d5. I do hang this pawn. I think that's fine. Okay, the idea was to play here. I wonder if I could even play this. Okay, I'm not going to. Okay, now this is really weak. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. Also, this pawn is probably gonna drop. I don't have to do anything about this right away. I can always play queen d2. Gets risky though. I don't know. I don't think I'm going about this the best way. But let's see. Play queen d2. We're pretty much dropping this pawn anyways, unless I try to push it, which I can do. No need to drop a pawn for no good reason. Is there any serious threat after here? Queen up. Not really. Let's play c3. Yeah, we have queen d2 here. Okay. Can win the pawn back tactically, I think. Give it a go. I don't see why not. I mean, I guess they can also win a pawn back, but that's fine. So we're attacking the bishop here. We're attacking the rook. Queen doesn't have any checks. It's worth noting. They can take here. I take the rook. I think I'm slightly better. They can also take here, though. And that might be a little bit more annoying. Queen takes, takes. This pawn's going to drop. It might actually be worse there. Yeah. I guess after bishop takes, I can even take the rook. If this is what happens. Yeah. I think that's a possibility. Um okay. This is what we get. All right. Interesting. Okay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. I want to get my king safer. I think the best way to do that is going h3 and king h2. That's what I'm going to do. King h2. Rook here is not a move yet. And we're able to get a rook in the game finally. Still no checks. Oh, that's a nice move. I didn't see that. Okay, so this is threatened. Um, so I can't take because of mate. I can just go rook here, I think. Although there's this. Wait, no, there's not that. What am I talking about? Oh wait, that is a. Oh wow, that's a nice sequence. So okay, this is the threat. We can play Queen F2. I gotta go faster. I'll play Queen F2. I gotta bring my rooks in the game. I'm up 2 pawns. I'm able to defend this. I'm fine. Now, the problem is that this is looking kind of hard. Also, yeah, that pawn was hanging, funnily enough, because there was a pin if I put my king back on h1. But I think I found the right approach. I'm going to want to play rook g1 next, so that I can eventually play rook e1, get rid of this rook. Gonna have to play fast too. We're down to less than 3 minutes on the clock. And yeah, we're gonna play a little bit defensively for the time being. There's a threat being made again. I don't think it's a big threat, to be honest. I can go rook here. And trade the rooks. I don't see a downside to this. I guess there's a check. I don't think it's threatening. I can just go king g1. I could also just, yeah, so I could just go king g1. Actually, I can't go king g1 right now. I'd have to go here. Oh no. Yeah, king g1 doesn't work. I drop a rook. There's only one other move to consider, really. Didn't see that. But now if rook takes, bishop takes, rook, fine. I think this is still okay. It's messy though. It's certainly a mess. It's like when I'm in the kitchen. It doesn't go well. Not much of a cook. But I'm trying to cook here. And we are attempting. Just gotta hold steady. Make sure that we defend against all the tactics that are available. Queen here is a move. We probably have to go rook f1. Red and mate ourselves. Keep the pressure against these pawns, against these rooks, with these rooks, sorry, the tension, what I meant to say. And make sure that they don't have mate in one available. Because if queen here and I take, they take with mate. Okay. Interesting. Very, very cool. Now I can take the rook. I'm pretty sure. But if I take, they take with check. And yeah, that doesn't go well. If I take the rook, bishop takes, rook takes. I mean, I feel like this has to work. Just quickly looking. There's no way I drop both rooks. I keep at least one rook on the table, and then it becomes a rook versus bishop endgame. And this should be winning. I could probably even consider just sacrificing the rook for the bishop and trust that this pawn endgame is winning, and I think that's what I'll do, actually. Because the extra pawn is going to come in handy here. Do I want to let the king in? Probably not. No need to do that. And we're going to rush the A and B pawns. We'll create a passer. And that'll be that. I think. I shouldn't get too confident. If he goes forward, I go a4. If he takes, I take. We'll create the threat of the promotion on the b file, and we'll snatch these pawns. We'll keep going. Why not? Force the king away, and we'll go up. And the king is too slow. And the king is too slow. And we got this going all the way. And in 1 minute, I really hope I can mate with a king and a queen on the board. Feels good to win again. It's been a while. So yeah, nice little bounce back. Let's take a look at the analysis and see how this one played out. This was fun. Okay, so we started this game with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and hoping for the 4 knights on knight c3, but instead we got a bishop c5 here. So this walks into knight takes e5. It's a tactic we've seen a couple of times. It's not winning by any means, but it's certainly better for white. And the wrong approach is going bishop f2. I mentioned this quickly in the game, but the right approach, if you're playing with the black pieces, you fall for this. It's not really a mistake. People actually do play this intentionally. After knight takes d4, you want to go bishop d6 and play this type of position. And white's fine. I mean, both sides are fine. White's slightly better. You have the better development earlier on. Since the knight's not on the board anymore, you can take advantage of this square on d4 a little bit more easily, like something like bishop e3, bishop d4 is possible. But yeah, so this is how you would want to play it with black. And here, you're walking into a whole lot of trouble. Bringing the queen out early is not the right move. It helps get the king to safety, as I mentioned. And after the knight slides back, e5 right away is actually best. And knight d5 is pretty good as well. And I mentioned knight d5, queen d8, and I was like, okay, it doesn't really accomplish too much. But the knight's pretty solid on d5. And you have such better development. I mean, look, you have a knight right in the center, you have 2 pawns in the center, and they've only moved 1 piece forward since the game started. So you're doing a lot better as white. After knight d5, I decided instead to just keep my development going. Bishop e3 here defends the pawn on d4, and bishop b5 is apparently an inaccuracy. The engine much prefers bishop c4 or queen d2. Queen d2, I figure, is to be able to bring this rook in the game and also be able to maybe go bishop g5 at some point. But bishop c4 just helps bring an attacking piece in. Ideas of getting the rook onto f1 makes sense. I decided to go for this pin, and after knight e7, I decided to go knight d5, and the engine doesn't like this. I'm curious about whether or not it likes d5. Yeah, I assumed it wouldn't because of a6, and I thought a clever little workaround was knight d5, but it walks into a very similar position, except with worse pawns, funnily enough. So your pawn is a lot more advanced in this resulting scenario, and it becomes a weakness to target for the black pieces. But this is what happens, and it's not terrible for white. It's, on the contrary, I think it's pretty good. If you play this well with white, I mean, this pawn is going to be something that is a thorn in black side. There's no easy fianchetto. And it's not going to be easy to target this pawn after you're able to successfully play d5. I decided to play d5 right away, and it's a mistake, because I guess bishop f5 is able to come in, which is what happens, and an attack is brewing. So here, after bishop d4 attacking the queen sidesteps, and I decided to go c3, and now I'm actually much worse. So it's really important to create some space for the king. And that's why h4 is the only move that, like, resembles a fight, apparently. So the reasoning is that after h4, I mean, if we play this in the obvious fashion, you gotta defend. And eventually later, you're actually able to sidestep the king onto h2, which is where it probably belongs. in this type of position, so you can bring the rook into the game. So here, I decided to go c3 instead. Just support the bishop, and yeah, I saw queen d2 as a defense to this move, so it didn't scare me too much. The problem is that now f5 can actually come in, and there's really no way to stop this pawn push, and it leads to devastation against the king, because the king has no space. Too late to play any of these pawn moves here. If I decide to go, I mean, like, let's say f5 happens, and I go h4 now. Okay, it's h4 is actually still the best move in that position, but now f4 comes in, f3 is gonna come in, and it's gonna be very, very, very bad. So yeah, here my opponent brings the bishop back onto d5, and I find the only move here, bishop takes g7, and my opponent lets me take the rook, which is a mistake on their part. Bishop takes g2 is the move that I was most scared of, and it is best. Here I was considering perhaps taking the rook still. Apparently this would have been terrible, because they could get their bishop out with check, and my king has almost nowhere to go after king f2, queen g2 check, and eventually I'm going to probably lose this rook, I would imagine, or even the game. So like, let's say I want to keep my rook on the board, I gotta go king up. Now rook e8 comes in. Let's say I want to keep my queen, because obviously I want to keep my queen. Well, now there's checkmate. So yeah, that would have been really bad, and I don't know if I would have seen that. Good to see it in the analysis. So yeah, luckily that's not what happened, and I do get the exchange. And the h pawn push comes a little too late. H4 is slightly better than h3. Give the engine time to go deeper into the lines, and it sees that h3 is just about the same, so not that bad of a move. King h2 is very important here, so I'm glad that I saw that. And here, there's only two moves to defend this position. Rook hf1 works. I thought it might not work, because after queen g3 check, well, king h1 is actually losing. Okay, so I have to go king g2. Yeah, king g1. That makes sense. And the rationale is that if I go king h1, I hang this pawn, because of the pin. So, good stuff. I found the other defense, which is just as good, queen f2, and now playing rook e1. The engine prefers rook he1. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. Rook he1 is preferred just so that you have this extra space for the king, I guess. But it's pretty much the same. After queen e5 check, g3, the only move. And now I correctly evaluated that this is just the winning endgame. And here, I mean, you can play with the rook, you can keep going. I decided, what's the point? This is winning. And yeah, proceeded to win. So, nice game. Not without its mistakes, of course. And honestly, I think I'm a little lucky. But it's part of chess, and the goal of improvement is to make luck less and less a part of chess. You want it to really be your own ideas, your own strategy that really wins you the games. I think that was a big part of getting a win today, but I also think that some luck was involved, and there's some things I didn't see. And I want to get to the point where I'm able to see more, visualize more, understand more, predict more. And hopefully that comes with time. We'll take a look and find out in future games. But I hope you enjoyed watching this one. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I invite you to do so, completely free. And drop a like on the video. Don't forget to do that. I'm going to be uploading daily again. You can hear probably my nose. I'm still sick. It's lasted forever. Hopefully it goes away completely. Time will tell. But yeah, I definitely know I'm feeling much better, so I'm going to continue uploading as much as I can. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Goodbye.